Hi, this is part three of a culture of adoring small beginnings. So like I'm saying, um, once it is only after the blueprint for the new reality is drawn up that the foundation can start to be laid. Okay. Um, and it's very important that all bases are covered in drawing up this plan for the new reality. Okay. And when I say all bases, I'm not talking about, economic, political, and social systems must be led by people who are loving and truthful with people with integrity. Um, Fundamental to all this is the philosophy and the worldview, the culture of this new that underpins this new reality. Like, where does it derive from? Essentially, what is the spirit of this culture that's going to create this new reality, that's going to motivate our behavior in that will birth this new reality? You know what I'm saying? What's the spirit? Because it's very important that the spirituality behind it is rooted in truth, and rooted in each person um, living a reality of consistent, authentic expression. Okay. Now, I don't know what the nature of the soul is. Like, honestly, this is just me feeling my way through the dark, right? Um, Following my intuition, asking for guidance from my higher self, right? Because some souls seem inclined toward evil. And I don't know if there's an evil soul or if a soul has been conditioned to be evil or has succumbed to it. You know what I'm saying? So obviously, if someone's authentic expression is evil, then obviously you don't want that person to be part of your movement, your organization, whatever, your institutions. So people must be vetted. Um, you have to be careful to avoid narcissists because they can pretend to be the nicest people. I was watching a snippet of an interview with Dr. Ramani, and the guy was asking her, I think it was that Diary of a CEO dude. Anyway, he was asking her, like, who is attracted to a narcissist? And she's like, everyone is attracted to a narcissist because they present basically the perfect human being. Okay. Only smart people are going to realize that no one is that perfect. And then that will be a red flag. But for everyone, those are green flags everywhere. Okay. And so we're all attracted to narcissists. And they are narcissists who will literally be philanthropists, you know, um, organizing soup kitchens and whatnot and whatnot. Okay, um, so this is why um, a spiritual philosophy rooted in truth is important. And what does that mean? That means introspection, self-interrogation at all times. Okay, it means regular check-ins with your higher self, because your higher self is linked to the source of all things, right? So your higher self has access to the information of the universe, past, present, and future, because there is no time in reality, in real reality, right? Um, it and this type of checking in with your higher self regularly is what will allow you to be discerning. You know, like if you look at what is said about the Christ, one of the things that's said about him is that he could see into the hearts of people and he knew what people's hearts were like. Okay. And so no one could fool him. And this is very important because if you undermining, if you're seeking to undermine the current reality, the reason why this current reality exists is because there are people who benefit from it. Okay, so obviously the people who benefit from it, they're not interested in you coming through and upending what they've built over millennia, you know. So you have to know that you will be attacked inside and out. That's why introspection is extremely important, because we're all prone to corruption. We're humans. You know, as they say, the spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, right? So a material comfort is exceedingly seductive to us. And some people will make your life deliberately difficult so that you will settle for less than what you deserve, just so that you can not starve. Okay. So small beginnings also mean moving away from dependence on the institutions that keep the status quo afloat. All right. But I'm just saying, like, in the spiritual sense, you know, it also requires part of being honest, right? And in that introspective sense, it's not just about you interrogating yourself. You have to have the courage to ask your fellows, your peers in this movement, hard questions if you think they need to be asked. This is one of the reasons why narcissists get away with fooling people, or are able to fool people or get away with nonsense for such a long time, because we humans, we are very much programmed to be polite and nice, you know. And so we will make excuses for people instead of holding them accountable the first time. You know what I'm saying? And it's a mistaken idea of friendship, which doubtless has been programmed into us by the current status quo, you know, because it doesn't want anyone trying to hold it to account. So it's going to tell you that you're not being nice by asking these questions. You're not being kind. You're not being polite by asking these probing questions. Why aren't you just satisfied? What do you have to be angry or depressed about? Don't you have food to eat? These types of things. You know what I mean? So, and I think courage goes hand in hand with truth, because, you know, the reality is that you are an infinite soul, an eternal soul, you know, and if what you're doing is not respecting the laws that govern your soul and the souls of everyone and nature and, you know, all of creation, then you are building your house upon sand instead of solid rock, you know. So you have to make sure that besides people who have integrity, they have the courage to keep that integrity intact, you know. Are not going to be people who compromise. Therefore, I think it's also very important that we realize that small beginnings are all about quality of the individuals involved, not quantity. Large numbers don't mean anything. You're only as strong as your weakest link. So if you're desperate to get large amounts of people involved, then you could find yourself diluting and compromising on the quality of people. Like Fidel Castro was asked, you know, when he started his revolution, if he wished he had more men, and he was like, no, I wish I had less, actually, because he realized that he had a large number, but in that large number, the quality was diluted. So it's very important that we keep quality control on ourselves and on our colleagues in this movement formation.